Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to King Lear by William Shakespeare. Today's cast are King Lear, who in spite of high blood pressure is more than 80 years old. Part of the reason may be that he doesn't have a wife anymore. On the other hand, he's got 3 daughters. The eldest is Goneril, who's married to the Duke of Albany. Second is Regan, who's married to the Duke of Cornwall. And last but not least, Cordelia, who really ought to get married soon, and there's actually a couple of candidates. The king's most important counsellor is, quite naturally, the Fool. Then there's the Earl of Kent, who is somewhat disabled. He notoriously speaks the truth. The Earl of Gloucester, who's got 2 sons. First Edgar, second the bastard Edmund. Edgar is the rightful heir, and Edmund is the dubious one, so you can remember, one tends to mix them up. And of course there's loads of side figures. It is once upon a time in Britain, long before the Romans entered the stage, and even that long ago the weather is not what it used to be. King Lear calls it a day. He wants to abdicate and goes, "Okay, daughters, it's inheriting time. I'm going to tear up this map of Britain." Bugger, it's plastic. That's really tough. Anyway, she who loves me most gets most. And the elder goes, "Me, no, me." And they receive their share. Then Lear turns to Cordelia, who is really his favorite daughter, and goes, "So what about you?" "Well, normal." "What do you mean normal? This is so kindergarten, Dad." "What kindergarten?" Yes, well, then go and see if you're gonna get married. You're disinherited." Kent jumps up and goes, "Sir, this is stupid." "Stupid? You're banned!" And he turns to Cordelia's suitors who are present and goes, "Right, Burgundy, you still want to have her?" Without dosh, sorry, sir, I'm out." "And you, King of France, I probably don't have to ask." "Yes, I think this is rather cool. I'm rich enough to be able to afford a capitalism critic as a wife. I'll take her." So off they go, and the rest of the realm is distributed between Gonny and Regan. The condition is simply that they take turns in sustaining Daddy and 100 of his knight pals for a month. Now, however, we get to know the other family conflict in the play in the shape of Edmund. "If I'm fucked by nature because I'm a bastard, I'm going to fuck back from now on." When Daddy enters and goes, "What's that letter?" "What? Nothing." And he tries to hide it. "Give me that letter." "Okay." And he hands it over. Daddy reads it, turns white as the wall and goes, "What? My legitimate son Edgar wants to kill me and share my fortune with you? I'm disinheriting him. No, okay." Exit Daddy, enter Edgar, and his brother goes, "What have you done? Dad's mad at you." "I haven't done anything, really." "Well, I would flee if I were you." Poor Gonny has Dad and his 100 friends in the house. He's as choleric as always. Funnily, Kent, who had been banned, is staying with him. He's just dressed up and pretends to be someone else. Probably knew his boss would need him. "This damn rabble of knights are so impudent. I'm not going to stand this any longer." "Are you my daughter?" "Why, is my anti-age cream not working?" Listen, 50 knights are more than enough." "The impertinence, I disown you." And he disses her and goes to Regan, to whom he says, "Good news, darling. I'm going to stay with you forever." "But not with this entire gang. You'll get a nursing bed on your own. That's best for everyone involved." "I think I'm going to go hysteric." And the Fool goes, "I told you so. Abdicating was a shit idea. Before I go mad, I'll take Goneril's offer and keep 50 knights." But Goneril has just arrived and goes, "Sorry, Dad, that auction's closed." "Fuck the lot of you." And he goes out into the rain. This meeting takes place at the Earl of Gloucester's, and he goes, "Well, don't you think that is a little cruel?" But the sisters reply, "Lock your door and don't let him come back." Lear is now rather broke, and within a short time has lost almost all his entourage. The only ones sticking with him are the Fool and the Earl of Kent. They don't have food or money, but at least they are all quite mad together. "Ha! The rain reigneth, the storm stormeth. I haven't really deserved all of this." Then again, it's a great experience for a head of government. You learn what normal people have to put up with. Then they meet Edgar, who has dressed up as a madman named Poor Tom, and being the victim of a family intrigue, he suits this gang perfectly. His father, Gloucester, in the meantime, tells his half-brother, "You know what? I'm going to help Lear after all, in spite of the ban. I've heard that his daughter Cordelia has landed with troops from France. I'm going to take him to Dover." Edmund, however, goes on to tell on his father immediately, namely to the Duke of Cornwall. "My dad helps King Lear." "Really? Then you're Earl of Gloucester now, and your father will have his eyes gouged out." Old Gloucester is soon arrested, and the Duke of Cornwall doesn't shy away from stabbing out an eye himself. Poke! Ouch! When one of Cornwall's henchmen steps forward and goes, "Okay, so I'm henching day and night for you, but I'm also a vegetarian and stabbing out 2 eyes is overkill." "Oh, really?" "Yeah!" And they fight, ouch! And having wounded the Duke of Cornwall, the henchman falls. Cornwall stabs out the other eye. Ouch! And eyeless Gloucester is now chucked on the garbage and wanders around without orientation when he meets his son Edgar, who, of course, he doesn't recognize, goes, "Who's there?" "Oh, just a poor madman." "Then take me to Dover, to the chalk cliffs." That's how it goes in the world. Madmen leading blind men. Goneril, however, has trials and tribulations of her own, because her husband Albany has chosen to acquire a conscience. "It was really unfair what we did to your dad." Oh my god, men around 40. A messenger arrives and goes, "Your in-law, the Duke of Cornwall, is dead. Quite unluckily fell victim to the wound he received while gouging out old Gloucester's eyes." And Gonny goes, "Oh no, and I sent Edmund to my sister. Being a widow now, she'll certainly grab him for herself. He's so appetizing." Edgar naturally knows why his father wants to go to the chalk cliff at Dover. He wants to kill himself. So to be on the safe side, he places him on a molehill and goes, "Righty, we're arrived. Fantastic view. That's so nice of you. Take my credit card." Well, he gives him some money. "Goodbye." And he jumps off the molehill, and now Edgar pretends to be a fisherman down on the beach and goes, "Wow, a miracle! You've fallen all the way down the cliff and are still healthy as a mole." And he goes, "What?" "Yeah, and up there the devil was standing right next to you. You see? What? You see? I'm blind." Okay, I'll just drop that silly suicide plan. And Lear comes by, who's really by now quite worn down, and goes, "Every inch a king!" And he's taken to Cordelia when Oswald, one of Goneril's men, appears and wants to kill old Gloucester because that hadn't been done properly yet, but Edgar manages to slay the killer instead. On the body, Edgar finds a letter proving that Edmund has an affair with Goneril. The reunion of Lear and Cordelia is a little difficult. "Don't you know who I am?" "No, Cordy, or I would have to be ashamed of myself." They're reconciled in the end, but Lear's really had it by now. Immediately before the battle between the French army and the united troops of the two evil sisters, Edgar enters and goes, "Pizza for the Duke of Albany? I didn't order any, that was just a ruse. Here's a letter that tells something about your wife and Edmund, and after the battle we'll have a great reckoning." Then the battle is fought, and unfortunately the bad ones win, that is the two sisters. Edmund is now one of the chief commanders of the USA, that's United Sisters Army, and he gives order for Lear and Cordelia, who have been arrested, to be taken to prison. And he shouts after his henchperson, "Make it look like an accident!" Then Albany and the evil sisters enter, and Albany goes, "So where are the prisoners, the king and his daughter?" "Yeah, I've had them taken to prison." "You're in charge of shit here." "Yes, he's soon gonna be in charge because I'm gonna marry him." Regan goes, and a jealous sister replies, "No way! Shut up, I'm gonna scratch your eye, I've got tummy ache." And she exits, and Albany goes, "You're both arrested for high treason and adultery for good measure, and now we'll have a trial by ordeal." And he has a trumpet sounded, and Edgar shows up, disguised in armor so Edmund wouldn't recognize him, and the two of them duel. By way of exception in this play, the good one wins. Edmund drops to his knees. "Okay, I admit it, it's all true." And Goneril goes, "Oh shit," and she stabs herself, having before poisoned her sister. That's why she had tummy ache. And Edmund goes, "Oi, hurry up and look after the king and his daughter. I've ordered them killed." "Oh," and he dies, but Lear already staggers in with his daughter in his arms. "She's dead, but I got her killer, and the fuckers killed my fool as well." Albany is now the next in succession to the throne. It's evident that Lear can't go on ruling, but Albany goes, "I really don't feel like being king after all of this. It's your turn now, Edgar." And Edgar goes, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be king." Conclusion. The Lear clan is nearly completely extinguished for reasons of stubbornness, greed, injustice, and resistance to good advice. Similarly, the Gloucester clan let alone all the collateral damage. Faced with all of this, one can develop severe doubts about the meaning of life in general. This essential crisis of sense and meaning in the face of destruction and death, as the human condition, Shakespeare has brilliantly captured in his play. Don't repeat it at home. And this, dear congregation, was King Lear by William Shakespeare. Vielen Dank.